This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Arizona. It's time. Yeah, Brother Mike back on the radio. Welcome to KXXT Christian Radio. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Welcome to the Arizona Deliverance Center. Today's Bible study, Christian human trafficking. This story will drop your jaw to the floor. Hey, call somebody and tell them the radio program's on. This is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center. Been a counselor for 43 years, which makes me an old person. Have to admit that now. I'm not young anymore. Been on the radio for, almost 25 years. Can you imagine that? Yeah, hard to believe. The Deliverance Center is right downtown. It's on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. It's a red brick building. And we have a counseling center there. If you're a born-again Christian, you need to see a counselor and you have no money, no insurance, you have no problem. Call me, 602-636-5800. Email me, mike@hardcorechristianity.com. Please attend one of our Zoom healing services every week, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Send me an email or call me and I'll send you the code and the password. Don't forget about our live services, Thursdays and Friday nights at 7 o'clock. Once a month, we have a children's healing service, first Saturday of the month at 10 o'clock in the morning. We are coming up with another healing service last Friday of this month. I hope you'll make it. It's at 7 o'clock. You wouldn't believe the number of people we've been seeing healed lately. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And God is merciful. Christian human trafficking. Go back with me to 2016, if you would. I know you've been with me that long. I've been around since 2002. So I did a radio program in 2016 on a guy named Joshua Taylor. He was pastoring a ministry called Joshua Media Ministries in Minnesota. And I don't want to go over that radio program again, but let's just say a bunch of financial scandals broke out. It was absolutely horrible. And this guy ended up getting sued. He ended up in a deposition, and the deposition ended up being leaked to the public, and it's on YouTube right now. You can watch it if you want, but it's the most embarrassing thing you've ever seen. I know all about depositions. I have had mine taken hundreds of times in my secular career as a counselor. I did a lot of forensic work, and this guy had his deposition taken. It was absolutely the most pitiful thing you've ever heard. He couldn't remember anything, had no explanation for why these outrageous, insane, deranged expenses had occurred in the ministry. They were spending money on luxury items and everything else. You can't even believe it. And he just sat there embarrassed to tears and wouldn't answer any questions. And it was horrible. It was just horrible. I don't want to rehash that thing again from my 2016 show, but like bad pennies, they tend to come back. That's right. We don't even manufacture pennies anymore, do we? David E. Taylor from his media ministries and his executive director, Michelle Brannon, recently have been arrested. In 2016, his ministry did not shut down. He simply went right back to doing the same thing he was doing before. Only this time he upped the ante to human trafficking. This is the pastor of a megachurch in Michigan involved in human trafficking. This isn't even a joke. Taylor's 53 years old now. Brannon's 56. They were arrested because they were using forced labor and they were laundering money at their church through the ministry. They have recently been charged with a 10-count indictment. A 10-count indictment of a pastor of a church, a mega church in Michigan. Folks, I'm not making this up. You can Google it if you don't believe me. Joshua Media Ministries International is the full name of it. They have a Kingdom of God Global Church that they run their ministry out of. They're accused of conspiracy to commit forced labor. They're accused of forced labor and conspiracy to commit money laundering. The operation is alleged to have left behind victims in Michigan, Florida, Texas, and Missouri, including women who were forced to take the emergency contraception drug Plan B. Okay? You can't have your human traffickers, your sex traffickers getting pregnant, right? That's going to cut down on your monthly revenue. This guy ran call centers that solicited donations from people every day. He had a telemarketing mill in his church. They had one in Florida, Texas, and Missouri, and Michigan. And these people that worked the call centers, they called them armor bearers. And they were first forced to work 12 and 15-hour shifts. They were like personal indentured servants. They ran the call center around the clock. They controlled every aspect of these young people's lives. They had no home. They had no relatives. They were illegals. And they would not permit them to leave the residential facility at the church. They were literally indentured servants, raising money over the phone for the ministry. In addition, the ministry was also used for sex trafficking. They transported women from ministry houses, airports, and all kinds of locations. And they were forced to take the Plan B emergency contraceptive pills. The thing was literally unbelievable. Literally unbelievable. This guy had purchased an $8.3 million mansion in Tampa, Florida. He bought it from the co-owner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Darcy Glacier Kaswitz. She and her husband sold the mansion to him in 2022 for $8.3 million. The mansion was 28,000 square foot, almost 29,000 square foot. It had a 2,600 square foot guest house. It was purchased with a $4.9 million mortgage from Miami Beach-based Crosby Capital. Now, in 2019, Taylor's ex-wife, her name was Tabitha Taylor, alleged that he engaged in multiple extramarital affairs during their marriage. I went over this in the 2016 radio show. And he had gotten her pregnant before they got married. What is happening here, friends? I mean, can somebody talk to me for a second and find out what in this world is going on around here? Well, we know what's going on around. This is the great apostasy. This is what this thing looks like. In the end times, as you know, 1 Timothy chapter 4 specifically says that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. This is the King James Version. Didaskalia is a Greek word for teachings. Devils is a Greek word, daimonion, means demons, teachings of demons. And this minister was possessed by demons. Nobody in his church congregation saw it. Nobody did anything about it. And please remember, every one of these church scandals that I go over on my radio program, I've been doing this since 2002. Nobody ever operates in a vacuum. there's always a group of enablers around these people in the church who know what is going on, and they support them because they're feeding out of the same trough. They eat the same food. If one of the enablers rats on the head guy or gal, they lose their meal ticket. So that's how these things get promulgated. And as Paul said to Timothy in 2 Timothy chapter 3, in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves. They will be covetous. They will love pleasure more than they love God. Can you imagine enticing other so-called Christians into fornication with sex-trafficked girls? They suspect that some of them may have been underage. That all hasn't come out yet. But as Paul said in 1 Timothy, they will heed seducing spirits. They will speak lies in hypocrisy, and they will have their conscience seared with a hot iron. That's the Greek word kateriazo. It means to cauterize. When you, as a Christian, repeatedly keep sinning over and over and over again, your conscience becomes seared and it is desensitized to it. That means your conscience doesn't work anymore. This man's conscience was completely cauterized. It was seared to the max, which allowed him to run a fake call center, raise millions of dollars by lying and cheating, and providing human trafficking sex services, ran out of a church. Now that kind of person can't possibly have any form of a legitimate conscience, can they? Yeah, I don't think so. They teach people doctrines of demons. They lie because they're hypocrites and their consciences are seared. If I'm talking about you right now, you can come in for free counseling services, and you can do it in confidence. Nobody has to know you came in if you're a pastor or minister and you know that the end is coming for you, because sooner or later God's going to expose you and you're going to get ripped to pieces. Come in for prayer. God can save you from the public humiliation that you are about to face. 602-636-5800. Your sin, of course, is not near as bad as our good buddy here, obviously. This isn't you, but you're heading for a scandal and you can avoid it. Mike at hardcorechristianity.com. See you next time.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.